All right, are we live? We're live and kicking. Third time's a charm, right? Oh my goodness gracious. I think what I did is I messed everything up because I wanted to show you guys the live stream of one of the commercials that we were talking about yesterday on our Facebook Live. So first of all, if you are not following us on Facebook, please go and do so. Make sure you follow us because every Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time, we go live and we give you a chance for a little Q&A, which is what we do here on Tuesdays at noon Central, so here on our YouTube channel. Now, that being said, yes, soft reset. Not a soft reset. Got through some things. Just joking. Yeah, did have to restart a few things 2 times already today. Ridiculous. Okay, so I'm going to speed talk through everything and hopefully just kidding. Hopefully take care of everything. But I wanted you to see the video because what it really is about is focusing on the topic at hand, focusing on the duties that you're doing instead of being distracted by everything else. Did you guys know that in 1980, which by the way, my kids don't believe that there was colored television in 1980? What? Anyways, but in 1980, the amount of distractions, I guess, was about 50 every hour. The number of distractions that you receive on an daily basis now, I guess on a daily it's over 5,000 just per day for distractions, for losing attention span and everything. So our attention span as adults went from, in the 1980s, about 25 minutes for an attention span, which I think of that now, I'm like, wowzers, that's awesome, that's fantastic. Because now it's about 6 to 8 seconds. Not kidding you. So if I'm boring, I lost you in 4 seconds. But if I'm really interested, I got you 30 seconds. We're golden. Isn't that awful? We have basically a 7-second attention span. With that being said, goldfish have an 8-second attention span. That's awful. That is awful. But okay, the reason I bring that up is because so much of the time we try and multitask. We can't even focus on one thing for very long. Why would we even think that we could focus on 2 things for a set amount of time? So often with cell phones coming in and taking over pretty much, we do so much with our cell phones. Our wallets are on our cell phones nowadays. Mine's not, but a lot of people, they access all their funds on their cell phone. Your accounts or your emails, your accounts for so many things, and so many of us have subscriptions. They're all on your cell phone. Your transfer app on your cell phone. Your settlement on your cell phone. So much of it is there, and you're constantly looking down. I mean, we've got to have back pain, neck pain because of this, right? So you're constantly looking down at your phone and going through it. Now, put that instance, and then put that behind a wheel. You're driving down the road, and then you're on your cell phone. That is crazy, because you need all the attention that you can to drive anyway. Don't get distracted. And that is you have this huge vehicle. I mean, if you're in an 18-wheeler, I mean, if you're in a car, same thing goes. You've got this vehicle that is a weapon if you're not careful. And you are going down the road. You have no idea if anybody else is paying attention. You have no idea how they're going to react or what type of skills that they have in order to react and what their abilities are. And you're only paying half attention, if that half attention, because the stuff on the road might not be as interesting as the stuff on your phone, which might be outranking everything else, So put the phone away, first of all, put the phone away and take a look at it on your downtime. That being said, if you are watching this video or any of our other videos, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or anywhere else, please make sure that you're doing it on your downtime, not when you're driving, basically. So please enjoy it on your downtime, and I hope that you find this information helpful, but be safe and don't put yourself or anybody else at risk, okay? That being said, Let's talk a little bit more about cell phone usage and how you need to stop it. And before I get to that, and before we go into full detail, I do want to just bring up a couple of things that are going on here at Decker in the next couple of weeks, this week and the next couple of weeks. But before I do that, I do want to say hi. Patrick's on. Hey, Patrick, thanks for joining us. And see Miss Anna, Miss Amy. Woohoo! There we go. Missing anybody? So Anna says, avoid accidents, stay safe by following these essentials. Maintain proper following distance, or observe proper speed and conditions. Yes, speaking of speed, speeding is the #1 focus for this week's CVSA's Safe Driver Week. And that's from the 14th, so Sunday to the 20th. So they're on the lookout for speeding. They're on the lookout for anything, but speeding is their main priority. Amy says, it's said, if I see another person on the phone while driving, I'm going to throw my, gonna throw something at him, huh? Oh, that is too funny. Okay. Driving distracted is dangerous. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the amount of damage that you can do is ridiculous. And in Montana, Amy says that people don't know what the blinker light is used for. They don't. Oh, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but if you're on your phone and the person in front of you fails to use their blinker when they're turning, are you going to be able to react? Because thank goodness that our trucks here at Decker, and I know, hey, Mudflap, you're back on. But here at Decker, with our trucks, we've got the Smart Drive system. And part of the Smart Drive system is noticing the following distance. So if you are following a car at 3 or more miles, or 3 or more car lengths, 3 or more seconds, I guess, that's good. That's what we want. But if you go below that, then it gives you a heads up. At 1 second, it flat out stops you. And thank goodness, because you could literally be just looking the other direction, just momentarily, looking for a turn, looking for a sign, anything like that. And when you're doing that, that person in front of you, if you were following within 3, that person in front of you either turned or braked or didn't put their blinker on, smash right your rear end accident. And you're considered at fault, especially as a commercial driver. So yeah, and we've had enough of that. We don't need any of those. Okay, so what else? Special events? Yes, ma'am. Special events. So first of all, don't forget that we do have the scavenger hunt for those of you who have not completed your entries. We have the scavenger hunt till the 31st of July. And if you haven't even started with your entries, you still have time. It doesn't take that long. It's just 12 submissions, which that means 12 selfies. Speaking of cell phones, make sure you're taking your selfie while you're parked and not at a light. And I'll tell you more why. So make sure that you get the truck in the background or get a little Decker sign in the background or something. Let me see it. And just springtime themes. Although the sport is basketball, so let's get those submitted to marketing@deckermail.com. Get your chance to win either $500 for first place, $250 for second, and third place gets $100. And that'll be announced on the 10th, I think, of August. But get everything submitted by the 31st of July. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Second thing is on the 27th, yes, indeed, the 27th of July, we are having a fun run. And if you want more information on this, Darren is the man to talk to. So his extension is 2448. Darren's the man to talk to. It's family and friends fun run. And what you'll be doing is you'll be basically meeting at the East Employee Parking Lot at Decker in Fort Dodge, Iowa. And you'll meet there, bring your motorcycle or your vintage classic car, your convertible, bring your ride. So whatever you got, bring it over to Decker East Parking Lot, the East Employee Parking Lot in Fort Dodge. And you guys are going to get together, visit with everybody, and then you're going to go on the route. So the route starts at 9:30. Well, you gather at 9:30, and then you'll start off. We've got 5 different destinations, and make sure I get these right. So you've got the Riverside Bar in Lehigh Tavern. In the second stop is Ogden Lucky Pig Pub and Grill. Third stop, Saylorville, Polk City, Latitude 41 Bar and Grill. Fourth stop is Luther What You Smokin' Barbecue and Brew. And the final stop is at Camrar Pickles Bar and Grill. So that is the fun run for friends and family of Decker. And it'll be in Fort Dodge on Saturday, July 27th at 9:30 a.m. in the East Employee Parking Lot, Decker Truck Line. All right, did I get that? Okay, so more information on that, you can get a hold of Darren, that's extension 2448, Darren Ladley, and donations are most definitely accepted. The donations will all be given to the local honor flight, and the honor flight, for those of you who are not familiar with that, the honor flight actually funds the transportation for veterans to Washington, D.C. So again, if you want more information, you just let us know. What else did I want to say? Fun run. Yep. Okay, perfect. So I got that. Amy says it's almost football time. That's right. Go Grizz. Oh, speaking of, we did post a picture of, was it Iowa State, that we have new shirts for. Amy, I'm with you. All right. Other big news. Okay. We like to celebrate milestones, and this is a pretty big milestone. So Steve Allinger, he is going to be here on Thursday, the 16th. What's today? Thursday, the 18th. Today's the 16th. Okay, Thursday, the 18th. And at noon Central, watch our Facebook, because we will have a Facebook Live presenting Steve Allinger with his new ride, his new truck. So awesome. Make sure you are watching. It'll be sweet. If you want more information, just give us a holler. As always, you can get a hold of one of the recruiters at 888-668-0698. And of course, you can always apply online at drivedecker.com if you're looking to apply. If you're with Decker and you have any questions whatsoever, you either get a hold of us here in the recruiting department, safety at extension 8533, Darren Ladley, especially with the fun run, for extension 2448. And any other extensions that I want to throw out, Amy or Anna? Anybody? Anything important there? All right. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about distracted driving, but more of a focus on using a cell phone. I did see on here that Amy had mentioned something about running into, not necessarily running into, but seeing. Just yesterday, we saw a lady on her phone, ran a red light. As our light was green for 5 seconds, she turned it. And if she had turned and I hadn't, the gut feeling she was stopping, she would have hit us. Exactly. I was coming home from church. Same thing, Amy. Same thing. Mine was a stoplight. It was a four-way stop. Stop signs, four-way stop. And the lady was half on her cell phone, right at the steering wheel. It's fine if it's on the steering wheel because, my eyes are in that direction. Yeah, right. She totally missed the stop sign, totally missed it. And I had this gut feeling that I'm looking at her, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's just going to go blow right through that. Oh, it gave me a great chance to honk my horn. It doesn't get a lot of use. I really appreciate it when those people allow me that opportunity. And so I just laid on it, made sure it worked really well. Yeah, totally on her phone, blew right through. And what kills me is she's got a big old passenger vehicle, with kids in it. She's on her phone. It's very important to me that your family, our family, when we use our phone, it is very apparent to our children, to our younger ones, that we are not using the phones while we're driving. My phone is put in my purse, it is put away, or my children have it in order to tell me, if I'm getting a message and I need to respond to it, then they're going to tell me, and then I'm going to respond to them to write it, to type it, or it's flat out in my purse. I do not have it out when I'm driving, and I'm very adamant about that. And I hope you guys are as well, because it can be a huge distraction. Now, I know hands-free devices are okay and they're approved by DOT, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are encouraged to be used because you have them. I mean, they're encouraged to use in replacement of holding the cell phone, actually having the phone itself in your hand, but it doesn't mean that we want you on your phone all the time. And the reason I say that is you still have a level of distraction when you're on your phone, whether you're just using the headset or not. I mean, honestly, you have a level of distraction if you've got a passenger in a vehicle. It's a less of a distraction usually, depending on who that passenger is, but it's less of a distraction than it would be if you were talking to that person on the phone. And again, we'll talk about that here a little bit more, but it's still a level of distraction, and you have a huge responsibility, especially when you're driving a huge responsibility, and there's no reason to take the chance and take your mind off of the job at hand and instead look at your phone or respond on your phone when you can take care of that later. It is not worth your life, is what I'm saying. It's not worth your life, and it's not worth somebody else's. So please choose wisely, and you know the rules. You know that if you were in fact ticketed, which to me is like a whole different issue. Like, being ticketed for being on your cell phone is one thing, and dang, that would hurt. That can be up to a $3,000 fine in some places. 3,000. It's like 2,700, 3,000, somewhere around there. That's just for the driver. For the company, it goes up significantly. Huge increase for having a ticket with a cell phone. And we here at Decker we do have to do terminations. If you have used your cell phone while driving and you have been warned and you continue to, it will result in termination. It flat out will. And it is not worth your life. It is not worth your livelihood. Don't do it. The fine here at Decker is thousands and thousands of dollars. The fine, not at Decker, but for any company through DOT. It's a huge fine. It's ridiculous. Not ridiculous, because it's going to save a life. It's like that fine or your life, but I mean, the amount is just an amazing amount. So don't do it. Just flat out don't do it. Yeah, you had to use your horn. Absolutely. I mean, I was the same way. It's not worth it. Now, using your handheld device or using your hands-free device, remember that it needs to be just a one click. So whether it's just one click on the ear, if you've got the screen on the dash or whatever, and it's one click that way, then that's fine. But it has to be one click. If it is more than one touch, then it is not considered a hands-free device. That's what determines it. So whether it's your phone or your XM or whatever, if it can be distractive driving for any of that. It doesn't just have to be your phone in order to receive a ticket for that using a mobile phone device or a mobile device. Yes, absolutely. Just like Anna was saying, well, certainly better than holding your cell. Having a phone conversation while driving distracts you from concentrating. It does. And I mean, you think of the level or the different types of distractions, and we've talked about this before. You've got manual, you've got physical, or manual, you've got visual, and you've got cognitive, which is not working very well for me. But you've got three different types of distractions. And when you're on the cell phone, you have the cognitive. I mean, you've got that cognitive distraction, and that's probably the worst one, because you really are thinking. And a lot of people, I mean, it depends on the type of conversation, but a lot of people will just get on their phone if they're starting to get drowsy, if they're exhausted, and that is not a solution. Don't use that as your solution. If you are exhausted, if you are tired, you need to take a nap. That's going to be the best solution to your problem, is to stop and take a nap. It is better than having the accent or rolling down a window, or, I mean, and those things, they can help temporarily, but just briefly, and that doesn't mean that you still couldn't doze off that quickly. Using the cell phone, turning up the radio, those are all things that people use to solve that problem. But if you are exhausted, you flat out need to stop and take a rest. I mean, that's what you have to do, you know. Plan your day, plan your stops, plan your schedule so that you are getting the rest that you need. And I know that's sidetracked, but that's at the same time that it prevents that level of distraction, that extra distraction that you would have been getting. Yeah, I totally agree with Deanna. It's like act like your life depends on it, because it flat out it does. Share it again. Oh, you're talking about for the scavenger hunt, Amy? I'll share that again on Facebook. Let me make myself a note. Share scavenger hunt. We've been posting some pictures. I've got some great pictures today on Facebook that I'll be sharing you. Some munchkins got to check out their dad's new rig, so those were fun. Those were great. Let's see. Make sure that I'm not missing anything. Hot in Tennessee. Yes, indeed. It's getting warmer here. So Mudflap says they passed a law in Tennessee that you can't be on your phone driving. Yes, and in most places that I've seen, most places that is the case, especially making up words, especially in city limits. You can't. I mean, that's when you're getting those massive tickets. Okay, so Anna did give us some examples here. So examples of illegal use of a handheld device are holding the phone with at least one hand for any reason whatsoever. It can be just to check your time. Ask my sister-in-law, she will tell you. Dialing and pressing more than a single button, or reaching for your mobile device. It can be any of those. And they can make the call. They're making the call whether they feel that that's what you were doing or not. Yeah, if you pre-plan your trip and you communicate with operations what's going on, ahead of time, don't speed, use your headset. That's right. Don't talk on your headset unless it's an emergency. Yeah, I mean, using your headset, I mean, we allow it. Here at DECRA, we do allow it. But we still recognize that it's a distraction and that it does take away from your focus from the job at hand, and that the dangers obviously will arise. It is much less dangerous than driving with on the cell phone, but it's still a level of danger. And yeah, that is nice. If you need to purchase a Bluetooth, or if you haven't yet purchased a Bluetooth and you need help setting it up, the safety department here will actually help set it up for you. Extension 8533. Yeah, the cost of fines is insane. Don't be calling me while I'm driving or flying. Yeah. All right. What am I missing? Am I missing it? Okay. Yes. Okay. So Anna brings up a great point. So Anna mentions about texting and the increased amount of risks on crashes and stuff. 23 times more likely, if you're texting, you're 23 times more likely to have an accident. And you're more than five times more likely to have an accident if you're on your cell phone. Yeah, it takes away, you guys, that's a huge 5 times. 5 times more likely. We don't need to, everybody's life is important, and there's no reason to put anybody else's life or yourself in jeopardy. Being on the cell phone is like being intoxicated, because your cognitive ability you're elsewhere. You can't focus the way that you should. So, all right, we're going to talk about the 4 myths. So first of all, keep your eyes on the road, keep your hands on the wheel, keep your mind on driving. Those are the keys, the reminders that we constantly have, that we constantly need to do for ourselves. But we're going to talk about 4 myths. How many myths? 4 myths of cell phone usage. So first off, we've kind of hinted on this on most everything that we've talked about so far. But first off, I can do 2 things at once. It's not a big deal. You really can't. And studies have been shown over and over. Multitasking used to be the thing to put on resumes. I mean, every time I look at a resume, it's like, oh, great multitasker. Wrong. No, you're not. I am so guilty of that. So guilty. I have put on there, um, first doing resumes. That was one of the first things you put on there. Multitasking, and then you give an example of when you were multitasking, and then you think about it. Were you really good at what you did because you're multitasking? No. In fact, it took probably 7 times longer to finish what you were doing because you were multitasking and not focusing on the project at hand. So whether you're on the cell phone and you're writing a note, because I mean, you think about it, you're taking a message for somebody, you're on the cell phone, you're writing a note, you're on the cell phone, you're driving, you're going to miss some of the things around you, whether they're cars coming at you, or the people, pedestrians, or maybe it's just, just signs along the way. You're going to miss things. You're going to miss about 50% of the things that you wouldn't have missed had you been not on the phone. Multitasking is not a thing. You can't do it. So it slows down your reaction time. You're not good at it. I'm just saying. You really can't think about both tasks at the same time. I have a great example of this. Not multitasking, reading the comments and staying on task for the subject that we're discussing. You can't multitask. Seriously. Although eating and watching TV is debatable. Is that what I just read, Anna? Yeah. But honestly, if you're going down the road, just think about the anxiety that you begin to get as you're going down the road and you are trying to unwrap a cheeseburger or unwrap something, whatever it is that you just went to eat. You're unwrapping it, and that alone takes your mind off of it. That's tough. First of all, you have both hands off the wheel. No. One hand on the wheel at all times. All right, I saw something on here from Patrick. What'd you say? Okay, Patrick says, pretty soon, perhaps in the next 10 years or so, your mobile device is going to be tied into your vehicle. Yes. Sorry, my screen's moving on me. Meaning you'll be designated slot to insert your phone in order for your vehicle to operate. Oh, you think it cannot be removed unless the ignition is off. Bluetooth music apps will function unless it's inserted. There needs to be mandated sooner rather than later. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they make them accessible for absolutely everything. But we do. I mean, it's a distraction. Oh my goodness, it's a distraction. You guys, please, we need to be careful. Lots of lives are at risk. Lots of lives lost because of it. One of the other myths that we discussed was talking to your passenger is the same, or talking on the phone to somebody is the same as talking to a passenger, when it really isn't. I mean, there's a lot of similarities to it. There's no doubt. But at least your passenger, if it's an adult passenger, at least your passenger is going to be aware of the surroundings, and they're going to give you a heads up if somebody blows right past a stop sign or stoplight. They're going to react. You're going to hear it. On the phone, they just keep talking. They just won't stop. And at this point, you're trying really hard to focus on what's going on. You're trying to react because you're trying to up your superior skills. And instead, they keep talking and distracting you even more. So it builds. The tension gets worse and worse. That's when it's on the phone. If somebody's in the passenger seat, they're less likely to say anything, or at least they'll be relevant to what's going on. They'll be able to react. Because when you're reacting to an instance, you might not be saying anything, or you'll say a word or two, and probably a choice word or two, which will be enough to scare the person on the phone. And when they don't see what's going on, they're asking, what? You need to be quiet. I can't focus. Just a minute, I'll tell you. Whatever. You can't. It's a distraction. It's a higher level of distraction, even with a hands-free device, than it is to have somebody in the passenger seat. Great example of multitasking, putting your makeup on and driving down the road, combing your hair and driving down the road, shaving your beard and driving down the road. But what do you think happens more often? People putting on makeup or people shaving while driving down the road? Interesting to know. I'm sure eating is one of the top. Yep. Myth number 3, hands-free devices are so safe while driving. you're still missing half the conversation. You're still missing half of the details. The whole environment. This is the environment you're in while you're driving. When you're on the phone, you're having a conversation, just figure you have a much smaller peripheral vision while you're driving and talking on the phone, because you're thinking about what you're talking about or what that person's saying, at least to some point. Even if you're tuning them out, you're still thinking about what they're talking about. However, so you're thinking about what they're talking about, and so you're already closing in. Your vision is closing in on what you can see. It's natural. That's just what happens to us. You get off the phone, you can see a lot more. I mean, you literally have a larger peripheral vision because you're not clouded by those walls of focus that you're trying to have while you're also having a conversation. Same goes for watching webinars or books on tape, audiobooks, listening to a debate or a conversation on the XM, anything like that, because you're still thinking, you've still got the cognitive, you're still involved in trying to figure out what's going on, what they're talking about. So same goes. So hands-free is safe while driving. It's safer than using a handheld. But just like any other radio or anything else, it's still a level of distraction, still a level of danger. Smoking, absolutely, yet another. Anything, eating, drinking, anything that takes your hands off the wheel, that's going to be a level of distraction. Absolutely. Yeah, myth number 4. I use my cell phone at stoplights. It's all right. It's okay, no big deal. Do you know that it takes more than 20 seconds to get your mind back on driving after the light turns green? Well, after you put your cell phone down. So light turns green, you put your cell phone down. 27 seconds later, you're not distracted anymore. Half of that is because you're second guessing what you just read or wrote on the text, because usually it's a text that you're doing at a light. But you're second guessing what you wrote or read, or you're just thinking about it, debating it in your head. How am I going to respond? Well, how do I feel about that? It's distraction. Again, that cognitive level, it just increases that much more. And once our cognitive on a different subject increases, then our vision decreases. That's the trade. Yes, Anna gave us a statistic here. Quite insane. Do you know that 84% of people, this one doesn't surprise me, but at least 84% of the public recognizes that driving while using your cell phone, that it was a higher percentage. I'm surprised that it's not a higher percentage. But 84 people recognize that it is a danger to use your cell phone, and it is a distraction to use your cell phone while you're on the road. Just 84. But of those 84 who recognize that it's a danger and are like, nope, don't do it, 36%, they still do it. They still get on the phone and they're texting or they're calling or whatever while they're driving. But yeah, they know that it's dangerous, but I'm still gonna do it. It's cool. It's not. Because it's so dangerous. Even if this just saves one life, that life is worth it. Okay. Those are our 4 myths for using the cell phone. Quite crazy, isn't it? The amount of cell phone has changed. The usage has changed. We rely on it for so much, and the amount of time that you spend on your cell phone is ridiculous. And that's why I wanted to show you the video, the commercial. It is sad to see that our lives are more on our phones than they are being lived. And if we can focus more on the conversation at hand, more on the duties at hand, more that what we're physically doing instead of what we wish we were doing or what we were doing, because that's what we saw last on our phone, we'd be much better off. So be aware of your surroundings, know your environment, and stay off the phone whenever you can. Enjoy life as is. Drop it, even if you aren't moving. Texting while at a stoplight or stopped in traffic is still illegal. It is. It is. That one's mine. That's the one I struggle with. Because I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just tell him I'll get back to him. Oh, there's a light. I'll get back to him so I can get the phone from him. And nope. That's why it goes now. That's why it's put away anymore. Because it's too tempting otherwise. So if it's tempting, put that sucker away. Schedule everything else around it. Get your hands free. Use your hands free so if they must get a hold of you, they can. You can respond. All right. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate you being here with us for today's live. I'm not done. I still wanted to talk a little bit more. I just didn't realize I was going to talk so much about the cell phones and staying off of it, getting on my rant here. But I do want to remind you, if you are looking for a position here at Decker Truck Line, that you can just give us a call. One of the recruiters will call at 888-668-0698. You can also apply online at drivedecker.com, drivedecker.com for that. Some of the positions that we have, I do recognize that I'm running low on time half the time because part of the reason, because I kept dropping a call earlier today, and I apologize for that, you guys. But questions that we've had, and I want to make sure that I address, is the teams. So we've been asked more about our team opportunities, and yes, we do have some team opportunities in certain areas because it is only out of my Missoula, Montana over the road refrigerated division that we have the teams. So if you live within that hiring area, then obviously we can help you out for teams. And that hiring area is pretty broad. A lot of areas in the West. Basically, call one of the recruiters, 888-668-0698. If you want to find out if you're in the hiring area, call one of us and we will tell you. That way you know for sure. But the pay for the teams, it starts as a base. The base is 50 cents a mile. And the more you guys run as a team for the month, the more you get per mile. And it's basically the original amount is going to be paid on a bonus the third pay period of the month following. So let's say as a team, you guys run more super solo miles. Let's say you run about 14,000. If you, anything between 12 and 14,000, you're going to get an extra 2 cents a mile for. And again, that goes to the truck. So that 50 cents a mile, that original 50 cents a mile, you get paid every Friday for, direct deposit. You get your paperwork in by Saturday night, you get paid Friday for it. Now that's the 50, that's the base. The extra cents per mile, so if you run 12 to 14,000 miles a month, that's going to be an extra 2. If you're running between 14 and 16,000 miles a month, that's going to be an extra 4. If you're running between 16 and 18,000 miles a month, that's going to be an extra 6 cents a mile. And anything over and above 18,000 miles a month is going to be an extra 8 cents a mile. Is that 8? 8. 8 cents a mile. And that's going to be paid. So it's 4 cents per person. That's going to be paid on the third week. The third pay period of the month following when you ran it. So whatever you ran in June, you'll be paid the third pay period of July for that bonus. But the weekly miles are going to be consistently paid on Fridays. I just saw a comment here that I needed to. Oh, there we go. Yes, 888-668-0698 for the telephone number. Okay, so that's the base for the team. That's how it increases for the team. The team is also eligible or can be eligible for the monthly bonus, which is the scorecard bonus. So teams have the mileage bonus. They also have a scorecard bonus, which does take into account mileage, but it's not just mileage. So you got mileage, you have idle time, fuel efficiency, you have what else? CSA scope points. So if you had any CSA points, it pretty much washes out your scorecard, or it brings your scorecard numbers down, where you lose that opportunity for that bonus. And that bonus can be an extra 4 cents a mile on all the miles that you have for the month. So it's a significant bonus. So CSA, what else did I say? Miles, idle time, fuel efficiency, on-time deliveries, driver service failures, so accidents, so if you have any preventable accidents, those will count as well. If you go to our blog, drivedecker.com/ blog. That will actually give you, if you scroll through it, you'll be able to find our scorecard bonus. We'll give you some details on that. So make sure that you guys can see it. All right. So that's my teams. That's how my team pays. So you definitely can have some opportunities. And most of my teams, they do like to run harder. And so they're, they are. We don't have, currently, we don't have any available dedicated team freight, like dedicated routes. But most of our teams are on the dedicated routes. And so that's what we usually try for. We do have some teams that run coast to coast. They tend to like those as well because they keep getting great miles and it racks up. So if you have questions on it, you just let us know. The $5,000 sign-on bonus that you get, it pays out on your 1-year anniversary. I'm going to call it the achievement or longevity bonus because it does pay out on your 1 year. You do need to run a minimum of 110,000 miles for the refrigerated division. So if you're a team, that 5,000 will be split, and you need to run that 5,000 within your year's time. Flatbed is 100,000 miles if you're looking for flatbed, 110 for refrigerated. All pays out one lump sum on your 1-year anniversary. All right, am I missing teams? Any other questions on the team opportunities? If not, we'll talk a little bit about lease purchase in the next couple of weeks as well. We get lots of questions on the lease purchase program. But don't forget, we do have in the Midwest, and yes, it's a designated area in the Midwest, but if you are looking for guaranteed pay options and you live anywhere from on I-80 from basically Omaha to Chicago on I-80, then we do have the guaranteed pay for the refrigerated division, which is $12.50 a week. Most of those who are on this division make above that $12.50 a week, so they're going over and beyond the $12.50 each week. We also have, if you are on I-90 Minneapolis to Chicago, that will get you an extra $12.50 a week. Excuse me, $12.50 a week for the refrigerated division. For the flatbed, it's $13.50. So if you live from Milwaukee to Mason City to Fort Dodge, up to Chicago, back up to Milwaukee, anywhere along that route, that's going to get you $13.50 the guaranteed pay for flatbed. So both options have that sign-on bonus as well, or the longevity, whatever you call it, but it pays out on your 1-year anniversary. It's that $5,000 bonus, so you have access to that. Very good. Oh, and don't forget that we do have a couple of short haul positions available. If you are in flatbed, please let us know. You can get a hold of us at 888-668-0698. We've got, if you live in the Sioux Falls area, we've got a short haul position available there. That's basically going to get you home every other day, sometimes multiple times a week, and then on the weekends as well. It is a guaranteed pay of $1,000. So not only are you getting paid, or not only are you getting home multiple times a week, but you're still making a good paycheck. So you're getting the guarantee of $1,000, which is up from the average last year was about $800 for that position. So this one has gone up. So if you live in the Fort Dodge or Sioux Falls area, we can work with that. Fort Dodge is in Omaha. We can work with those areas. Just let us know. Yes, 3+ times a week. So it's basically every other, but it's multiple times a week is what it is. $1,000 a week. So 888-668-0698 for more details. Cool. And if you have any other questions on positions available at Decker, we do have opportunities, whether it be refrigerated flatbed van, hopper even. We do, and we train. So if you have questions on that, or if you're looking to train, then you can give us a call. 888-668-0698. You can check us out on our Facebook page, facebook.com/DTL Inc. And we'll have information for you there. Do not forget that Thursday we are awarding Steve Alger with his new truck, his new ride, and we would like you guys to tune in to our Facebook Live so that you can also see what we've got there for him. What else? And the fun run that is on July 27th, 9:30 a.m. at the Fort Dodge, Iowa Terminal East Employee Parking Lot. Come join us there. The scavenger hunt. Don't forget to get your submissions in by July 27th or July 31st for that one. Get your submissions in. Chance to win $500. 5, 250, or 100. And then, as a reminder, we were talking about cell phone usage. Stay off your phones if you can. Stay off of your phones. Use hands-free devices, and keep your eyes on the road. Eyes on the road. Your mind on driving, and keep your hands on the wheel. On the wheel. Yes, indeed. So the presentation that we're doing, it's a presentation and lunch awarding Steve Alger his new ride, but that's on the 18th, so that's this Thursday. So it's in the inspection lanes. Our 2018 Grand Champion Driver of the Year. Yep. Let's see. I'm trying to think. He had multi-million mileage, and Grand Champion. Grand Champion gets $15,000 for the year. So our Grand Champion, $15,000. Yeah. Now they had the option of a car or $15,000. They took the cash. So they as in he and his wife. So we've got 2000 Grand Champion of the Year. Steve Alger, he is getting his new truck. So making a big to-do about it. So I hope you guys join us. That's this Thursday. What time is it? I think it is at noon Central. Yep, noon Central. Cool. Awesome, you guys. I thank you so much for joining me today. And please don't forget to subscribe so that you can tune in every week at noon. And then if you click the bell, send you a reminder and be like, hey, we're live. We're live. Every time we go live. Today was 3 times. Just joking. All right, you guys have a great day. Please enjoy the rest of your week. Please be safe and choose to stay off your cell phones whenever possible. Thanks, you guys.